Hi everyone and welcome to the A Strings Guitar channel. My name is Ryan Haberfield and I have hijacked the channel for a short series I'm going to be doing on guitar tips, tricks and lessons and that kind of thing. If you don't know who I am, check out the last video where myself and Adam sat down and we had a little chat. I kind of explained who I am, how I know the guys here. So I'm a professional guitarist, originally from South Wales, really close to the shop. I've played with a bunch of people such as Jessie J, Mel C from the Spice Girls, Liam Payne from One Direction, done a load of TV, recording, West End shows and that kind of thing. And I've teamed up with the guys here. I'm going to bring you a bunch of educational content to go along the channel. I also have an online guitar school called fretlicks.com, which we're going to put in the description below. So in this video, we're going to talk about something all guitarists do. Doesn't matter your ability level, we all have to do this, and that is tuning. So we're going to look at tuning today. Now, it's something a lot of guitarists take for granted, and we all kind of think we're okay at it because we tune with guitars, but there's some things I see guitarists always do wrong. So originally I was looking at what I'm going to talk about in this video, what I'm going to do. So there was 5 things I was thinking. 5 is a nice kind of round number. However, there's actually going to be 6. So right at the end of this video, my last point is going to be a pro kind of tip, which I'm going to make sure then by showing you that you always get your guitar parts bang in tune. So let's kick it off then. Point number 1, first tip. Now this is something I see a lot of guitarists do wrong. What it is simply you need to tune at the velocity that you play. So what I mean by that is, let's say for example, you're quite a heavy picker. So we take a little look at the tuner. If I pick really hard on this low E string, like this, you'll notice, you can see a lot of red there. You notice the E string is going really sharp. The reason that is, the harder you pick, the sharper the string is going to sound. Now, if I pluck again, but I pluck softly, you can see it's in tune, sort of verging on the flat side that time. If I pick hard again, it sharpens up. I pick soft, it's bang in tune. I pick hard, it's going sharp. So you can see, depending on the velocity that you pick the string at, the tuning alters. Okay, the harder you pick, the sharper the string will be. So more on this particular tuner that I'm using, the top end, so it goes a bit red, and when the lights are underneath it is when it's flat. So that's bang in tune, that's picking soft. I pick hard, and it goes sharp. Okay, so you can see that massively alters the pitch. So if you're a hard player, if you're a rock player, make sure that when you tune, you pick really hard. So if I pick really hard like this, I'm gonna have to make sure that I adjust my string to the same velocity that I play. Just like that, okay? So now if I pick softly, the string's gonna seem a bit flat. I pick hard, and then the string creeps into. And what you might see is sometimes when you do this, the string goes slightly sharp and then settle back to where it is, okay? But that's a really important tip. Make sure that when you pick to tune, you're picking at the same velocity at which you play. So if you're a soft player, if you don't like to pick too hard, the same thing applies. Do not be smacking your strings really hard to tune if you're a soft player, okay? You need to tune to the velocity that you play at. Now, this is quite noticeable if you do a lot of detuning. So if you're a rock or a metal player and you're playing in, drop D or drop C sharp or something like that, this will be really important. Now, often rock and metal, we pick hard to really get the most out of valve amps and that sort of thing. So we just make sure that when you're tuning, you pick at the same velocity that how you play. Okay, so that's point number 1. Point number 2 is when you're turning the machine heads, do small turns. Don't do big, massive turns. Otherwise, this is going to happen. We don't want that. When the tune is close, just do really small turns. I mean, when I'm tuning, I'm literally hardly even turning it. Okay, so I see a lot of guitarists tuning, they're doing these big movements, and it seems to take them forever to get the guitar in tune, and that's why. You just want to do literally tiny little turns. Especially with a guitar like this, which is one of the Fender Professional series, which is an amazing instrument, on sale, and the link will be in the description as well through the shop. The machine heads are super sensitive, so you don't actually need a lot of motion. You just need a very small micro turn. So there I am, I'm plucking at the velocity I play and just very small turns. Okay, so that is something which you could be wrong when tuning. So on to point number 3, or tip number 3, is if you're finding you're playing live a lot and you're trying to play some of the lower strings and it's not registering on the tuner, tune to a harmonic. So harmonic is, there's loads of them on the guitar, but for tuning you need to use the 12th fret. Now that will give you the same pitch as your open string, just 1 octave higher. So I'm going to go to my 12th fret, I'm going to lightly touch right above the fret. So when you're playing harmonics, don't go in the fret where you'd normally fret the note. Go right above the fret wire, pluck the string and take your finger off. Now this is really, really good, as I said, if you're in a venue, if there's a lot of background noise. Again, if you're in the detuning, this will really, really help. So I'll pluck a harmonic and then I can tune to my harmonics. Small turns, I'm plucking at the same velocity that I play at, and I can tune through my guitar with harmonics, because all the harmonics at the 12th fret are going to give me the same pitch as my open strings. Okay, so that's a handy tip if you're playing live, if you're in loud venues, because sometimes tuners don't always register with really low tunings, especially. So if you're in E flat, C sharp, drop D, sometimes that's a really, really handy little trick you can do, just tune into harmonic. Point number 4, which is something I see people do a lot, you'll go through the guitar like this, pluck every string, check it in tune and go, cool, I'm done. Now, that is dangerous game to be playing. It's a really dangerous game to be playing, especially on guitars such as this one, where the trem is not right back. So if you've got anything, the bridge is fixed to the guitar, it's not as of a dangerous game to be playing. As soon as you've got a trem which is floating, if you've got Floyd Rose, that is going to be dangerous territory with tuning, because every string alters the other. So it's a bit of a balancing act, really. So if you're on let's say you're on a Floyd Rose and you like to do a lot of dive bombs and that sort of thing, every string is going to be affected by the next one. So I'll show you what I mean. So if I tune this guitar really out of tune, okay, and then I'll go through the motion of tuning. So let's just say I'm going to go round this once. So my E's in tune there, my B's in tune, my G's in tune. Let's get the D in tune. Work my way through the guitar like this. Yeah, it still sounds out of tune. I mean, it's not awful, but that sounds pretty rough. That one sounded a bit nasty when I played a G chord, because even though I tuned each string like that, the tension of each string affects the other. So you need to make sure you go over them a few times. Never just tune each string once. So I'm going to go back over them again. So you can see straight away that E is really, really flat now. So I need to sharpen that. The B is also flat. That's way out. And probably I'm going to need to go through this again after I've tuned it this time. It's getting closer, so I'm going to go around it again. It's getting better, and I'm going to go around it again. And then I'm going to go around it again. I'm literally going to go around this until every string is bang in tune. And then I'm going to check it again. And now I should have a lovely in tune G chord. Okay, so you can see the difference there. That was the first time I did it, where I just went through the strings once. It sounded absolutely terrible. You go over and over them like that, make sure every string's bang in tune, and that's going to result in a lovely in tune guitar. Tip number 5 then. Now this is a bit of a seasonal tip. Depending on the weather, your guitar is going to change. The tuning is going to change. Normally during the summer months, I don't know if you already find this, your guitar kind of goes out of tune. The wood gets hot, the strings get hot, and everything just loosens a bit, and the guitar tends to go a bit flat. So often I find in the summer, I need to tune more than I do in the winter. So I'm not just going to tune my guitar once in the morning and it's done. I'll be tuning it regularly through the day in hot weather. And whatever you do, please, please, please do not leave your guitars leaning against a radiator or anywhere near any source of heat like that, because it's really bad for the instrument. You can actually warp the neck and that sort of thing if you do that. And also it's shocking for tuning, okay? So that is the other thing. Depending on the time of the year, you're going to have different tuning issues. Normally during the winter months, where the wood and the guitar gets cold, the strings get a little bit sharper, and in the summer, often tuning the strings gets a little bit flatter. So just something to bear in mind if you are wondering why your guitar is going out of the tune all the time. It could just be the heat. And often, for example, if you took your guitar and left her in the car, and then you brought it into a warm environment, the tuning is going to be all over the place because the guitar, the word, the strings, it needs to sort of adapt to that environment as well. So that's a handy little tip for you. So the final point I'm going to chat about in this video then, point number 6, it's kind of a pro tip really. It's something that I do a lot when recording guitar parts. Now you may find from guitar to guitar, the intonation, what I mean by the intonation is the tuning in various areas of the neck might not be bang on. For example, if you were playing a Telecaster which only has 3 bridge saddles, this is kind of a common problem. So what I will do then, just to resolve that, is just tune to the part you're playing. So let's just say I was playing a part up this area of the neck, the song's in A and I'm playing. Okay, so say I was playing something like that. Now the intonation and the tuning on this guitar is actually really, really good. It's slightly out. So what I'll show you there is what I will do, I'll actually go to the part I'm playing, and I'll fret the notes and I'll tune to that part. So rather than tuning to open strings, I'm actually going to tune to the notes I'm playing. That's pretty good. Now to my ears, that sounds a little bit better and more in tune than it did before I did that. Okay, so that is mainly going to be if you're recording. That's not necessarily a live tip, but certainly if you're finding you're doing a lot of home recording and you're playing parts lower down the neck and then you play them up at the neck and you're thinking, why is that sounding so out of tune? You're tuning to open strings and it's all banging tune. Certainly look at tuning to the part you're playing, especially if you're doing acoustic stuff as well. You're moving up the neck. Have a go at doing that. Play the part, play the notes, hold them down, and then tune to that part. Okay, so that's all the tips then. Let's just quickly talk about the gear I've been using. Now, a few tuners I recommend. This one is the Snark tuner. Now, I always use this, especially for acoustic instruments. I find it particularly good and particularly accurate for acoustic guitars. You can use it on electrics as well. I tend not to use this one live just because they clip onto the headstock and I like to move around a lot. So this is certainly the one I'll use at home if I'm recording or especially on acoustic. And the thing I love about these tuners as well, some of them come with a metronome. So if I was to do a performance and I'm playing an acoustic show, so for example, when I was playing with Jessie J and we did a lot of acoustic stuff, I'd have my set list and my metronome settings next to it. I could put the metronome setting on the tuner and it would literally flash to me the tempo of the song. So I find that really, really handy. And these are, for me personally, these are the best clip-on tuners on the market, and there'll be a link in the description for you to get one. Highly recommend if you're looking at getting a clip-on tuner, this Snark one is, for me, the best. I mean, there's loads of other makes, but that's my favorite one. This other tuner I'm using here is the D'Addario. This one is really, really good. It's really, really accurate. I found it really easy to use. And the great thing about this tuner as well, compared to some of the other ones on the market, is it lights up. So I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous, but if you're in a dark room, you'll be surprised how much that's helpful to tune when all those lights are going on. It's really easy to use and really accurate. And that's the D'Addario, and there'll be a link for that in the description. This guitar is amazing. Absolutely recommend this, 100%. I love Fender gear, and the amp I've been using in this video is the Kemper Profiler, which you can also get at A Strings as well. So I hope that was helpful and gives you a few little hints and tips about tuning. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you like the stuff I'm talking about, you can find me in the description below. As I mentioned, I have an online guitar school with courses and lessons, and I have a Facebook group and a YouTube channel as well with loads of lessons and that kind of stuff. It'll all be in the description below, and I look forward to seeing you in another video sometime soon.
Hello, Adam here. Just letting you guys know that you can check out Ryan on all of his teaching platforms across Facebook. You've got fretlicks.com, and if you go through the link below in the description, you get 50% off through our A Strings affiliation. I don't know what you call it, but that's what it is. Any of the products that Ryan is using in any of these teaching videos are available through us here at A Strings. We've put in the products in the descriptions below too, so you can check them out. And that is it. Enjoy the videos. Ryan, have a good one, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.